Hello everyone, my name is Gareth. I'm the developer of this website that I'm going to show you how to use today. It's called Digital Grimoire. It's heavily inspired by another project called Pocket Grimoire, which is a digital version of the game Blood on the Clock Tower. It's not affiliated in any way with the Pandemonium Institute. All roles and abilities and so on is the property of Stephen Nedway and the Pandemonium Institute. This video is just to show you how to use the website that I've made if you want to play a game digitally without owning the physical copy. When playing the game, the first thing you need to do is choose a script. So for the sake of this demo, I'm going to be using a custom script, which is something that you can search for in the box here. You can also use the base 3 scripts there here as well if you want to use Badman Rising. It's available here. Sex and Violets is also available. But I'm going to use a custom one that I like called Hookah Sampling. If you prefer dark mode, there's a button for that. I'm going to be using the light mode for the sake of this demo. Okay, so now I have my script. Next thing I need to know is how many players I'm going to be playing with. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to say I've got 8 players. So that would be 5 townsfolk, 1 outsider, 1 minion, and 1 demon. If those players don't have a physical role sheet or script to play with, you can click this character sheet button and get them to scan this QR code on their phone, and that will bring up a page where they can just see these characters here. All right, now I'm going to choose what characters go in the bag. I'm going to choose a noble, a Genja, philosopher, a monk, and a village idiot. If I wanted to put more than one village idiot in the bag, I could click this +1 button here, and that would put 2 in instead. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 townsfolk, 1 outsider, 1 minion, and 1 demon. Now that I've selected 8 characters total, it will no longer allow me to put any more in the bag. Similarly, if I wanted to try and put the drunk in the bag, it wouldn't let me, because you don't put the drunk token in the bag when you're playing the real game. But for this, I'm going to choose Saint. So now we have our 8 players, 5 townsfolk. We're going to go to the draw tokens page, and I'm going to ask each player to come up individually, tap on the token bag, and figure out or find out which character they've chosen. The way that these are automatically placed on the Grimoire, it's starting from left and going round in a circle from left to right, starting at, if you imagine a clock face, starting at 8 o'clock and going round. So you want to take the player that's sitting to the left of you if you're facing your group first, and carry on clockwise from there. So I'm just going to go through and select some tokens. Because I've played this game already, I have some existing player names that I can choose from, so I'm just going to do that. The first time you play this, you'll have to write them in yourself. All right, now each player has their role. I'm free to go over to the Grimoire page. Now what I would do is I would set up the game. So let's add some reminder tokens for the noble. To do this, you can either click on the add reminder button at the top, and that'll show you a list of all the available reminder tokens, or you can click on the individual role and add the reminders from there. Now that I have all the tokens, I can simply click and drag them to where they should be. Similarly with the monk. And if there's multiple village idiots and one of them is drunk, I could add the drunk token from here as well. If I want to add the bluffs, I can click on add role and select from the characters here. This is also where I would add any travelers that arrive later. You can see that the tokens that are already on the Grim are faded out, so you know not to give those for your bluffs. So I'm going to choose just the random without putting any thought into it, really. Grandmother, balloonist, damsel. Why not? Okay, so now we've done that, it's time to start the first night phase. So down here we can see there's the night order for the first night is selected. So we do dusk, then we wake the Mikkel the philosopher and ask if they want to use their ability, minion info, demon info, and so on until dawn. If you don't have any way of representing the alive or dead or death vote status of your players, you can start synchronizing. So that is an option where you can load up another window with a town view. So if I say start sync, I put in town ID demo, I open a new tab, it's disconnected by default. Come back to here and I click on create. And now if I select this tab and say join, you'll see now that we have the town view representation of what's going on in the Grimoire. So currently there's 8 alive players, so they're all showing as alive, 0 dead, and 4 is the majority vote for execution. We'd continue the day, people would go and talk to each other, and then they would come back and we'd start the nominations, and eventually someone potentially would be executed. So for the purpose of this demo, let's say that Lars Erik is the unlucky one, and he dies. I would click on his token and then select dead. And you'll notice in the town view that that status is also updated to show that he is now dead, but he does have his 1 remaining ghost vote. For the second night, you would select other nights here, and then you would go through the night order based on that. You'll see that Lars Erik's character has been faded out because he's dead and no longer has an ability. Let's say, for example, we wake Mikkel, and he's decided that he wants to use his philosopher ability. We can select his token here and say become. Let's say the philosopher wanted to become the Banshee. We can select Banshee from this drop down. I know you can't see it, but believe me, it's there. And then click on become role. And now Mikkel has gained the Banshee token. And the reminder is available there to add when they die if they're killed by the demon. And you'll see they're also now shown in the night order as the Banshee. Only tokens that have a player name assigned show up in the night order sheet. And you'll notice that Mikkel's original character, the philosopher, is actually still underneath here. So if I wanted to add a reminder is the philosopher, I can select that from there and put it beside that token. Continue in this fashion until the game is over, marking players as dead along the way. Let's say that before the Mez died, Annie was told and said the Mzafali's word. To turn them evil, we'd select their token and click on evil, and that will turn the icon red as well as a visual reminder that they are in fact now evil. Let's get down to the final 3. And you'll notice that all this state changes has been mirrored in the town view. So we have 3 alive players, 5 are dead, 2 votes is enough to put someone on the block. And that is how you use this app. Once you finish the game, if you want to save it, you can do that by going back into setup game and clicking on save, and that will save the state of the game in a JSON file that you can load at a later stage. Using the load button. There's also the ability to upload any custom scripts or any scripts that are not available on botc scripts. They can be uploaded and you can play with them in the same way. One thing I forgot to mention for the Grim view, if you want to communicate with someone during the night, there's a show text button and you can write some custom text there, or you can select from the drop down. There's a lot of options for this is the demon, these are your minions, these characters are not in play, this character selected you, this player is, the same as you would have the physical tokens for in the physical game. There's also a couple of helpers. The Yagababble phrase is, and then the Cephalese word is for example. So you would just bring this up on the screen and show them, and then click out of it again when you're done. If someone wants to see the character sheet, you can click on Hide Selection, and that will hide what you've chosen, and you can just show them this. But ideally, a player would have that on their own device. I think that's covering all of the functionality of the Digital Grimoire website. So I hope that was helpful for anyone who wants to use it. If you have any questions, you can find me on the Blood on the Clock Tower Oslo Discord. My name's Gareth, and thank you for listening.